What's going on, everyone? My name is Henry from Ahead of the Curve 94. Thank you so much for tuning in to a very special episode of Old Habits Die Hard. On today's show, we're going to talk about the 10-year anniversary of The Martian. Let's go. According to Wikipedia, here's the plot synopsis. The film depicts an astronaut's struggle to survive on Mars after being left behind and NASA's efforts to return him to Earth. Okay, yeah, long story short, motherfucker gets stranded on a foreign planet, the one right next to us, Mars, you may know it. He gets stranded there and has to survive for 4 years until his fucking space Uber picks him up. Who's driving the space Uber? The ones who left him. So, off the bat, let's get a few things out of the way. The score. I love it. Okay, it's beautifully scored. The cinematography is awesome. The lighting, the visuals, all around. Sound design, also very engaging. Let me tell you, this one, it's pretty immersive. Also, another pro would be its ability to translate the big science words that people like me know shit about. They are able to translate that complex language for people like me. The cast is next. I'm not even going to get into individual names here. The stars, Matt Damon, and for the most part, we're going to just squeak by because there's too many people in this film. So many of them show up for the tiniest cameos. So, hey, we're not going to really dive into the cast, but if I'm being honest, it's one of the most well-rounded and star-studded casts that I can think of, at least in the last decade. This is definitely before a lot of these people blew up, to be fair, but man, this is just Up next, I want to talk about the sense of scope and the imminent danger that's always present.
This will come as quite a shock to my crewmates, and to NASA, and to the entire world. But I'm still alive. Surprise.
Somehow this movie's able to balance it out with a bunch of humor, which, if I'm being honest, I don't know why it works so well for me. I've watched films like Interstellar, which has very few comedic moments. This one is a complete 180 to that, and it's not so self-serious that even Mark himself, Matt Damon, even when he's staring at death in the eye, he's still cracking little one-liners that are not too over the top, so, Speaking of which, he is the biggest pro of the movie itself, okay? He's the star. On Mars, he's a literal one-man show, okay? So, yeah, he's solo dolo for most part. So they waste no time getting into it. Mark is on a routine mission on Mars. Team's just happy-go-lucky. Everyone's having a great day. A great soul. Gotta get the right terminology here. Something goes wrong, shit goes haywire. His ass gets left, okay? It is not by their choice, but, as far as anyone else is concerned, this man is dead, okay? He's not dying, he's already dead. He's gone. So they have to leave, and of course, they find out 4 months later as they're on their way home, that homie's still alive, okay? We'll get into it, but that's pretty fucked up, man. Legit, NASA knew for 2 months, and then they waited another 2 months to tell the crew. Honestly, people, I'd rather have died in that shitstorm that sent Mark flying, because there's no way I could science the shit out of this. There's no fucking way. Even down to giving himself medical attention. He has to suture his wounds and staple them shut. I worked in a hospital for 9 months or so in registration. I've seen some shit, but no, people, no, not happening. That shit would break me. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't come out completely unscathed either. By the end, he's kind of a little bit of a psycho, as you would be. For sure, he slowly descended into madness. I mean, by the end, he's got this crackhead beard. His teeth hers are all rotted, and it's just, yeah. He looked like he'd been through some shit. That guy you passed earlier today asking for change? That's him. Another positive I want to say, the stakes are set early. Within the first 17 minutes of the film, Matt Damon gets into his accident, he survives, and then he breaks it down for us. For those of you who weren't paying attention. And his first fucking night, he's literally just waiting for death to just fuck up his shit. At any moment, this is gonna go south. Imagine having to wait just to suffocate. You know, what the mental toll that would take on you, at least for me, we're done already. So in his desperation, homie comes up with a great idea. Poop potatoes!
I gotta figure out a way to grow 3 years worth of food here on a planet where nothing grows. Luckily, I'm a botanist. Mars will come to fear my botany powers.
Yes! Sustainability, okay? Good old potatoes. The working man's food. People, I love potatoes. Or at least I thought I did. Have you tried to just eat a regular potato that's been microwaved, steamed? No, it will drive you insane. Random note here, I want to put this out. This film came out in 2015, the same year that Creed came out, which we're reviewing later on in like November. Stay tuned. Those two films squeaked in like 2 F-bombs that I could think of, and they still got the PG-13 rating. For those of you who don't know, they only allow 1 F-bomb. After that, you get an R rating. That's what happened to like planes, trains, and automobiles. Back to the plot though. Watching Mark go through his trial and error process is hella engaging. All the while we have that going on, like his escapades on Mars, the B plot kicks in. We have the astronauts aboard the Hermes. That's the crew that Mark was a part of. We also have the ones on Earth at NASA trying to figure shit out. And this is a constant throughout the film. It's really smart not to just focus on, like, for example, day 1, day 2, and then like the last couple days. No, they actually very smartly sprinkle the shit out. You know, we'll get day 4, day 28, day 200. You know, it's smart to really show like the progress, so to speak. All the while Mark is on Mars, just, you know, moving shit around. It's kind of like watching someone play Animal Crossing over the span of like 4 years. Standard island, you know, basic bitch house, and then motherfuckers have mansions years later. It's like, all right, respect. Where's Tom Nook? At this point in the film, people, Mark is able to contact NASA via old school methods with like computers left there in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they have to go retro with this shit. And he literally has to translate using yes or no questions. It's a goddamn nightmare. All the while that's going on, the crew finally gets word from Sean Bean. He basically is the one who's like the whistleblower. He tells the crew what's going on, and you know, by the end he's in trouble because hey, look, you're gonna have to resign after this shit. Look, we're done. And while we're on the topic of Sean Bean, I must give a pro for this, people. I should have brought it over. I'm too lazy to get up and get it, but there's a scene in this film where Sean Bean is in it, and they talk about Lord of the Rings. Okay, there's no way around it. That is my only note. Bravo. About an hour into the film, that's when we really start to focus in on the crew of the Hermes, you know, start to get to understand their motivations, who they are as characters. It turns out all these people are beacons of hope. Not one asshole in the group. I know it would have kind of hurt the flow a little bit. You know, it's like, hey, we're not really worried about them. It's titled The Martian for a reason, but you know, I could have used a little tension amongst the crew. I will say though, since they are good people, they are clearly taking it hard. I mean, for the most part, they instantly decide, yeah, we're going back to get this motherfucker. I will say, so, you know, for the sake of the plot and moving the movie forward, that was a great choice. And this is around when shit goes south for Mark. Within his little habitat, his little safe haven on Mars, there's a breach. Even worse, the poop potatoes are gone now. God damn it. As if that wasn't enough, losing most of his stock, there's a breach in his goddamn suit that almost takes him out as well. I mean, he's on the verge, like the last few seconds of his oxygen completely running out. All of these things accelerate his ticking clock. Now he has to speed things up severely. Now with his food is being cut, time's of the essence here, okay? We can't wait. All right, let's get to it here. At about 98 to 100 minutes in, cut to Soul 461, I believe. The film itself skipped a lot of shit, okay? We cut to Mark, and now he's the crazy looking pirate dude, okay? Now he's all tiny. Homie's been eating potatoes for years at this point, okay? He's tired, folks. Shout out to the guy who played the skinny version of Mark. It kind of looks like pre-serum Steve Rogers in a way. I guess I wouldn't know, all I saw was his ass, but based on that ass, looked like pre-serum Steve Rogers.
That is America's ass.
This is when he makes the big trip. Not the big trip home. This motherfucker has to do like an 80-day travel to the other side of the planet. No lie, people, as if his odyssey wasn't challenging enough, okay? Now he's at a point where he just has to get to the location, and that in of itself is a goddamn challenge. You know why? Because he has to live in his goddamn car for that entire period, okay? It's good God. If you're moving on. Home stretch, people. Cut to 561. Now, this is the day we bring him home. Great final sequence to cap off this film. I'm not going to get into the details because, well, honestly, that's kind of what the film has been building up to completely at this point. And this isn't a film that has a lot of major spoilers. You get the idea. Man stranded, someone has to come get his ass. That's pretty much it. So, I will say, I was fucking tense. I remember I had a blanket over me, and I was just like grabbing the blanket because my imagine cannot process space at all. Okay, so it very much intrigues me and terrifies me. Is this shit completely possible or even plausible? Probably not. But is it enjoyable? Fuck yeah, I had a great time with this. Yay! The crew successfully rescues Mark. And they get to do this off planet, by the way. I'm not kidding, people. He literally has to meet him halfway, essentially. Just out of the orbit of the planet. And one fuck up and he's just gonna drift until he dies. But they get him, folks, and now he's back down on Earth. Living amongst the people. Sorry, Xbox. For those of you who did not see that, I just elbowed the shit out of my Xbox over here. Anyway, now, people, he's successfully reintegrated back amongst the people. We need to send his ass back out, okay? We need Mark Watney to lead the Lazarus Project. If you've seen Interstellar, you may know that The Martian is a secret prequel to that film. Even has Jessica Chastain as well. Hey, look at that. Okay, I'm kidding, folks. They are completely unrelated, but check that review out. I had such a great time with that one. Man, Interstellar is just one of my favorite movies. Well, all that aside, I want to say the final pro for this film, I Will Survive, plays over the credits. I'm not kidding. Well done. At this point in the video, people, it's time to get to the goddamn rating, okay? The Martian, 10 years later, will receive a rating of a low. Add it to the collection. Yes, I thought this was a great time. It's not something you need to rush out and necessarily see. You don't need to have 2 copies of it. But if you have it, you want to put this in rotation. It's a good time, people. And with that, people, it's time to get out of here. Hope you had a great time watching the video. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Henry from Ahead of the Curve 94, and I'm signing out, y'all. Deuces. Hey, it's me again, the guy from the thing you just watched or fell asleep on, and you know who you are. Either way, I just need to say thank you so much. You deserve a reward. So there you go. And while we're here, please consider subscribing, leaving a comment, and most definitely check out another video. Perhaps this one right here, or maybe that one over there. The choice is entirely up to you. And that is the Ahead of the Curve promise.